All right, here's my example of my Smart Art Gallery Photoshop project. So what I have done is added these 4 pictures in, and for each one of the paintings, I basically selected the painting on the background and added a color fill layer, and then I placed my picture and then clipped it into the color fill layer. So that's how we got these in here. So I'm just going to go through each one and show you the changes that I made. Okay, so here's the first one. I added my face, and then in the filter gallery, I added the cutout and the watercolor filters. And so turn those on. There you go. And that's what that looks like. And then I modified the levels, so that makes it darker. I think it looks a lot better. And then I didn't like the color, the flesh color, and so I added a hue saturation to make it shades of pink. Okay. For the pizza one, I added a color halftone, which makes it have the dots. And then I used a curves adjustment just because it looked a little, I don't know, weird. I thought it would look better with just some changes to the color. It's not a huge change, just a little bit lighter there. And that's that one. Painting 4 here is my family. It's my husband and I. And I put quite a few smart filters on this one. And I like drug them around 15,000 times trying to decide which ones I wanted. And these take a little bit of time to render. So let me turn them off. So first the oil paint one, and then I added the ripple to it, which made it move around. And then I added the fragment on top of it, which kind of made it darker like that. So that's that one. And then finally my abstract one that I used the liquify filter on, since that was a requirement, is this one. It's There's Pumpkin, my cat. And when we turn these back on, I liquefy her face, bless her heart. And then I added the oil painting filter on top of it, as you can see there, and it adds that there on top. And then it was a little dark, so I did a brightness contrast, which brightened that up really nicely. All right, and then that's the paintings, and of course you're required to have 4 or 3, but I did 4 just for fun. And I used one. This one had the pixelate filter to it that was required. This is my artsy one over here that had the levels adjustment, and then here's my liquefied one. And then you had to add an additional item, so I added this clock in here because it wasn't part of it. I thought it was, the color was a little bit dark, so I changed the exposure so it was a little bit lighter and matched. And then I added a drop shadow and put the drop shadow on its own layer. And then I made the drop shadow not as tall because when I added it on there, it went above and below. It like hung out above and below. And so I put it on its own layer, and then I scaled it down because on all these other ones, I noticed they just kind of went even with it or a little bit in there. They didn't go out above it. So I wanted it to match as much as possible. It was kind of hard to determine because this is round and they were rectangles. But anyway, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's all organized over here, and I did all of the requirements.